let's get into it. So pen tool, as you might guess, it's under the P letter. The shortcut is P. A lot of the shortcuts don't make sense, but this one does, thankfully, because this is the one I use a lot. So here's the pen tool. It basically allows exact curvature, like complete control over how you want things to be curved. And this is important. I was teaching someone this and they were like, why is this useful? Which this is actually, for me, the most useful tool because it allows you complete control over curvature. Whereas if you use L, which is the ellipse tool, and you make a circle, it's always going to be a default kind of curvature that it comes with inherently being a circle or an ellipse. All right, and those are good if you are looking for that very perfect geometric shape. But if you want a more organic shape, more raw, then the pen tool is going to be your best friend. I make most of my art through pen tool because of that insane control you can have over objects. So let's bring that back real quick. Okay, so how to use pen tool. Press P, and this takes some getting used to. You click and hold, and then drag, and that will decide the curvature. So these are handles, those blue things with the lines and the dots, those are handles. Those show the amount of curvature, and that will be on the tangent of the curve. That makes sense? So those aren't the actual line that's being formed. So if we have click, hold, drag, click, hold, drag, okay? And then if you want to exit the pen tool, so you want to manipulate the pen tool, click V. So go to your select tool, so V, click off of it, and then click A to manipulate your pen tool, because that will trigger the direct selection tool, and the direct selection tool is different from the move tool because it allows you to click specific anchor points. Okay, so here is direct selection tool, whereas if I'm on V, which is just the general move selection tool, it will select the whole object, all right? Okay, and I can manipulate this. When I say complete control, what's nice is that you can change it exactly how you want it. So moving these handles will just change the tangent of that curve. I'm getting all trigonometry on here, but that is the best way I can explain it, I think. And so you can really make it extreme, like it won't stop you from folding a line over itself like that, just because of how extreme this curve is right now. And let's say I'm not done with this curve yet. I just wanted to go back and manipulate what I already had. Go back to the pen tool, so P, and then you'll see that little star. That means it's creating a star is a new pen line, okay? Whereas if I hover over any of these anchor points, a different icon will come up. So let's explain those. If I hover over the end point of a pen line, you'll see that angled line, slightly angled up line. That means you're adding to an existing pen line. So if I click and hold and drag on that, it will continue that line. Okay, so there's no break in this line now. It's just one continuous line. Whereas, as we saw earlier, if I select the thing again, and I hover over this one, that's a minus sign. So that is, as you can probably guess, it will delete that anchor point. Okay? Let's go over that one more time, Control Z. So I get the pen tool up. If I want to continue the same line, I wait for that hover and the angled sign, and then boom, I'm continuing the line, and I'm like, yay, circle of life, continuing things. Whereas if I want to, I'm not happy with this part of the curve, or I want to change it for later, I do the pen tool again, and I hover over that anchor point, and I wait for the minus sign, and then I press minus. And that is different from deleting an anchor point, because that, or it's different from deleting the line, because that is getting rid of that one specific anchor point, but it's not deleting the line. Whereas if I press A, so I go direct selection tool, and I select that same anchor point, so I undo what I just did, and I selected that specific anchor point, and I want to delete it. Like, I want to delete that whole segment. So I just select it and then literally press backspace or delete, and now that whole section of the line is gone. Does that make sense? But we can fix it. Let's say I didn't want to do that at all. Just press Control Z. It'll be back. Boom. Control Shift Z brings it back, or deletes it again. But let's say I just wanted like a clean slate. I wanted to reform that section. Now we do the same thing. We can recontinue that line. And this is another symbol. Oh, that's a new symbol, right? So that box with a line through it means that you're connecting two pen lines. So it means you're like making a bridge. It kind of looks like a bridge. You're bridging a gap between two lines. And so that is really important if you're on the road to closing a shape. So like this one's a closed shape. This one's not a closed shape yet. This doesn't mean you're closing a shape, but it means that you are on the path there. you're on the road to it. There. So now this is a complete line, not a closed shape, but a complete line. So Anna, how do we make a closed shape then? You keep talking about it. Oh, so let's do that. Here is the continuation symbol again, right? And let's say I'm pretty happy with this shape right now. It's a little weird, but I'm happy with it so far, the general shape. And now I want to close it. So I go over to my original pen point, my original anchor point, and I hover over it, and we have, bam, a new symbol. What is that? It's a little circle, a little O for okay, that you're closing something. So wait for that little circle, and that means you're closing a shape. Okay, and because that curve was so extreme, the one that I overlapped earlier, that's why it looks a little crazy right now. So let's say I want to keep that section exactly the same. I'm gonna match it with its original. So the blue shows what the new thing will look like, and the black is what's already there. So I'm gonna try to match it as closely as I can right here. And there you go. Now this is a closed shape, and I can double check something is closed by changing the fill. So I want to see the fill as, actually, let's do like a light, cute little pink here. Okay, and then bam. So I know this is filled or closed because there's no breaks in the stroke here. And I can also double check the stroke, whether it's closed or not, by raising the stroke, and it's a closed shape. And I also know it was closed because of the little O that was shown to me when I was using the pen tool, right? Okay, cool. Let's make these a little smaller. Okay, another part of the pen tool that is cool is, so I've only really shown like the curvy parts of pen tool, but if you just click and you don't click, hold, drag type vibe, you get straight lines. So that is important because, oh, what's that? Could it be? Oh, man, it's a little dark. Could it be exactly what we needed? Boom. And now we have a more complete snowman. There. So I would create, you can create a triangle with the shape tools, like with what we went over last time with these with the polygon tool. So if you click the polygon tool, you click anywhere on the screen and then you press 3, it will create a triangle for you. And then you can also use this as the nose. But again, I like the control of the pen tool and how you can easily make the triangle, in this case, the nose, however you want it to be. But the amazing thing with these programs is that there's a million ways to do everything. So let's try it with the polygon tool. So we click polygon tool, click anywhere, and make sure it's 3 sides. Say, okay, it's 3 sides. And then that's a little small, it's a little not long enough, right? So we're gonna manipulate that like that. We're gonna turn it on its side, and because I want it to be exactly 90 degrees from where it is right now, I'm going to hover on the corner of it, wait for that swingy arrow to come up, click that, hold it, and then hold shift. And then it's gonna go in only 45 or 90 degree angle turns, okay? So that's really useful if you want exact angle work. Okay, now look, it looks pretty close to what we have here, the one I made with the pen tool, but I want it to be exactly like it. So this is basically a pen tool made shape because everything's just a vector in Illustrator, right? So everything is technically with the outline of a pen shape, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Everything is manipulatable by using the direct selection tool, okay? Everything in Illustrator. So we have this shape that we just made with the polygon tool. I want to just make this point a little bit higher so that it's the same as this, okay? But I just want this one point, so I have to go to direct selection tool, not the normal one, not the V tool. I want the A tool, okay? So now by clicking A, I can move just this anchor point. And now it is really freaking close to that one. It's a little bigger, but that's what's nice with these programs is that there's a million ways to do the same thing. So you can find what works best for you. If you like working with basic shapes first, go for it. If you like the control and I guess you can manipulate everything, but if you like the control of the pen tool, then go for that. It's honestly totally your call. Something to note about the pen tool is that Illustrator will default, if you go to the view window, it will default to to snap to pixel, and that will decrease some of your control because I'll show you here. Do you see how it kind of jitters? It's not a smooth creation. So it wants me to put it in a certain spot. Okay, if you use Procreate, then it's like having really high streamline. So let's say I don't like, I want it to be in this exact spot that's between these two jitters. And so that's frustrating for me, right? Because as an artist, I want complete control over what I'm creating. And that's why if we go to view, uncheck snap to pixel, go back to your pen tool, and boom, it is a smooth experience. All right, now we have complete control over where the exact point goes. And